So the 26th problem says a ray of light passing through an equilateral triangular glass prism from air undergoes minimum deviation when the angle of incidence is 75% of the angle of prism. Compare the speed of light in the prism. So since the triangle is equilateral triangle, the angle of prism is 60 degrees and angle of incidence is 75% of 60 degrees, which is 45 degree. Now let's calculate the refractive index of the prism first. So as we know, the refractive index n is sine delta plus a by 2 divided by sine a by 2. Now delta is the minimum deviation, and which is 2i minus a. So delta plus a by 2 is the angle of incidence. Okay, so angle of incidence for minimum deviation. So the refractive index n, which is c by the velocity of light in that particular medium, is sine 45 degrees divided by sine 30 degree, that is 1 by root 2 into 2, that is root 2. That implies b is equal to c by root 2. So if you calculate, option B would be the answer. Now the question is, the diameter of a capillary is 4 millimeter. If Reynolds number of the tube is 1000, the coefficient of viscosity of water is 0.02 poise. Determine the maximum speed of water. So as we know, for maximum speed, Reynolds number would equal to density of water times the speed times the diameter d divided by the viscosity. So here viscosity is given in poise. So poise is basically 1 poise is 1 dyne second into centimeter to the minus 2. So this is in CGS units. So I have to put everything in CGS unit. Given Reynolds number is 1000 into eta is 0.02 divided by rho in rho is 1 gram per centimeter cube for water. So 1 into diameter is 4 into 10 to the power minus 1. So if you calculate, the answer would be 50 centimeter per second, but in the official answer kit is given 100. So if you are able to reach 100 centimeter per second, please write it in the comment box. 20th problem says two amplifiers are connected one after another in series. The first amplifier has a voltage gain of 12, second has a voltage gain of 15. Find the output of AC signal if the input signal is 0.05 volt. So the gain of first amplifier is the output of first amplifier divided by input of first amplifier. Similarly, A2 is V2's output divided by V2 input, but since they are connected in series, then V2I must be equal to V1 output. So we need to calculate V2 output divided by V1 input, which is A1 into A2. That implies the final output voltage would be A1 into A2 into input voltage, which is 12 into 15 into 0.05, that is 9 volt. Option B. Now the question says a copper block of mass 3 kg is heated in a furnace to a temperature 150 degrees centigrade and then placed on a large ice box. Find the maximum amount of heat that can melt. So since the ice box is very large, the final temperature of the copper will be 0 degree centigrade. So in the cooling, the copper block is going to release the heat Q, which is M times the specific heat times the difference in temperature. So here, as you can see, this is given in joule per gram per Kelvin. So we have to multiply 3 kg into 1000 to make it in grams. 3000 times the specific heat is 0.39 into delta T is 150 degrees. So this much amount of heat is provided by the copper to the ice block. So let's assume that M1 amount of ice is melted. So the heat required is M1 times the latent heat of fusion, which is 335. That must be equal to the heat provided by the copper, which is 3000 into 0.39 into 150. So if you calculate, then M will come out something like 535 grams. So that is 0.5 kilograms. So none of the answers is matching. So option B is given in the official answer key. If you are able to find out how to reach this answer, please write it in the comment. Question 30 says a turret has a core of inner radius 23 cm, outer radius 28 cm, around which 4000 turns of a wire are wound. If the current in the wire is 9 ampere, find the magnetic field inside the turret and outside the turret. So inside the turret, the magnetic field is mu0 into number of times divided by the current, it divided by 2 pi r1 plus r2, where r1 is the inner radius, r2 is the outer radius. So if you calculate that using the fact that mu0 by 2 pi is mu0 by 4 pi is 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla, you are going to get 2.82 into 10 to the power minus 2 Tesla, and the magnetic field outside the turret is 0. 31st problem says, how does the angle of minimum deviation of a glass prism of refractive index 1.5 will change if it is immersed in a liquid of refractive index 1.25. So as we know, refractive index of the material of prism divided by the refractive index of the surrounding is sine delta plus a by 2 divided by sine a by 2, where delta is angle of minimum deviation, a is angle of prism. So a is going to remain the same when you immerse in water, and you can write then sine delta plus a by 2 is proportional to 1 by n surroundings. So as you can see, when ns goes up, delta must go down. So the angle of deviation is decreased when you immerse in a media that has higher refractive index than air. Option C. Now 32 problem says the following truth table belongs to. So as you can see, so between A and B, if anyone has the higher bit, that is 1, then the output is 1. So that is a characteristics of OR gate. So this is a truth table for OR gate. Now determine the logic operation implemented by the circuit. So looking at A, so after first circuit it will be A and B whole bar, and after second gate it would be A and B bar whole bar. As we know, A bar dot A, or A bar and A, sorry, as we know, A dot A is always A, so that would be A and B bar whole bar reach A and B. So the first is AND gate, so only option 1 is matching. In order to use the transistor as an amplifier, it has to operate in active region. This is an informative question. and you have to remember this. In active region, transistor can work as an amplifier. 35 problem says for a C transistor amplifier, the audio signal voltage across the collected resistance is 3 kilo ohm is 3 volt. Assume the current amplification factor is 50. Find the input signal and base current if the base resistance is 1 kilo ohm. So the collector current is 3 volts divided by 3 kilo ohm, which is 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 ampere. And as you know, the current amplification factor is defined as current in the collector divided by current in base. So IV is IC by beta, which is 10 to the minus 3 into 10 into 50, divided by 50. So if you do that, it would be 20 microampere. That means the input signal is basically IB times RB, 20 microampere times 1 kilo ohm, that would be 0.02 volts. Thank you.